Growing up in an area with few Asians, my parents had difficulty integrating into British society as first-time migrants with not a lot of money. As my parents struggled to integrate, to some extent, I asked myself, where do I fit in? Who am I trying to please? This is my story about being faced with challenges, being diagnosed with schizophrenia and also with a personality disorder. They have been very life-limiting. I've lost the ability to live, to function, and to be part of society. School wasn't very positive about different cultures. Teachers were always making everything into a big drama, like talk in English, don't speak in your language. I'd say to the teacher, Miss, we eat with our hands. And they were like, well, we have forks, why don't you use a fork? School was also traumatic because I was heavily bullied as early as primary school. I felt excluded as I was constantly anxious and worried about my safety. I always thought, am I going to be safe here? Secondary school was very segregated. But I thought to myself, through an education, I could succeed and pursue further in life where I wanted to go. But at university, I experienced a lot of racism from other students who would never talk to you because they had such negative opinions about ethnic minority people. How can someone from a BME community be able to, go to a good university and have a good education? My white uni mates didn't understand or want to understand anything about my culture, my traditions, what religion I've been brought up with, and how important these are. But I transferred to another university. And it was like going from a negative to a positive. This college even had Diwali. We did a drama about an Asian wedding. I felt very proud. My skills, my talent, my experience, my culture was being appreciated. That's when I started to feel positive about my religion and culture. I still find people from BME communities are a target in Britain. We're seen as criminals. There have been multiple incidents when I've been questioned by the police, which I think is racial profiling. Just a few weeks ago, I was questioned by the police when I was in the city centre roaming around. You like to think the police are there to support you, to offer assistance and guidance. Like incidents when I've been threatened by people where I've lived. And on top of that, with a mental illness and a close-knit South Asian community, there's a lot of shame because of a taboo or a cultural lack of understanding around the illness. You're trying to deal with that on a daily basis in the community, trying to explain, I'm not mad. I graduated with a 2-1. My parents came to my graduation ceremony. I felt very pleased. But the following August, I had difficulty sleeping and began hearing voices. I was experiencing a lot of stress, anxiety and worry about the future. I began feeling very disengaged from people. The voices became increasingly distressing. They were overpowering, loud and demanding, telling me, you must do this, you must get angry with people. By the winter, I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act. It was very traumatic. Like I could barely understand what had happened. And I remember the consultant and the psychiatrist coming into my room, asking me some questions, and being observed by the Mental Health Capacity Act assessor. All I remember is being heavily injected and then some nurse going, "We'll see you in a couple of weeks." And then 6, 7 months later, hearing I was ready to go. But I lost my willpower, my confidence, my motivation, my ability to live. Decisions were being made on my behalf. It just felt like, where should I go? I'm dying. It felt like I can't help myself. I want to help myself, but how am I going to be able to help myself? Even today, the way the mental health system treated me, I feel like it's appalling. It's just a very traumatic experience. Whenever I've spoken to my GP, they only talk about medication. They don't talk about any alternatives such as therapy. They said, "You've had therapy and that's it." Then they stop the conversation. So I remain on medication, even though I do feel the medication has caused me a lot of damage. I would constantly be sleeping 12 to 24 hours. I would only wake 1 hour a day. And when I question my psychiatrist or GP, my experiences or concerns get ignored or diminished. I realise I need help. What I don't understand when I question the professionals is why the need for me to be on such high dosages. I've complained heavily to the NHS, but I always get the same response. "Why are you creating a problem when there is no problem?" But my concerns haven't been represented. I've been listened to, but no action has been taken. It's the system and the medication that's made me ill and hasn't enabled me to speak my voice. Where is our voice? I want to be heard.